Well, I feel good, good, good. Well, I feel good. Oh, yes, my Lord. Because there's something about the Spirit of Jesus that makes me feel good, good, good.
In 5 years, I hope we'll be celebrating how much closer we've become to God and each other. And I also hope we'll be celebrating how many people we've helped become close to God.
So I think that's something that's really important as one of the main focuses for the church moving forward should be a focus on all members discipling one another through discussions and small group support. I think everyone is gifted, and when we are all intentionally building relationships with one another and just talking about how passionate we are for God, I find that outrageously encouraging. And I think that should be central to our culture and what we do here at Lakewood. I also think that we need to continue being inclusive and encouraging and service-minded with the people who come through our doors. It's the reason why Josh and I stayed after we first visited. Everyone was just so incredibly and genuinely welcoming, and everyone was just so service-minded, and I was just blown away by how much people cared about other people, that, you know, with no extra intention of like what they could get in return, just a genuine care for taking care of other people. And I think that just is exactly what we're called to do as Christians, and I think that needs to be a main focus of what we do moving forward.
For those of you that don't know, I work on a drilling rig, and we have to wear a hard hat and safety glasses and fire protective clothing to protect us from hazards that are on the rig. And just like there's hazards on the rig, there's hazards in the world. And Paul writes in Ephesians 6:13, he says, put on the full armor of God. And I think the best way to do that is to live in community with one another. And just like we have a job in the Christian community and a job on our oil rig, and my job out here is to take samples and run them through this lab and to make sure that we are putting out truthful and accurate information. And I think one of the best things about community is it can help us to do that, and we can bounce ideas off each other and live in community and to know and to live in truth and what that is and what that best looks like. And just like there's a PS at the end of a lot of letters, I think there should be a PS at the end of service that stands for post-service. It's a group of people that are focused on growing together in community and applying what we learned on Sunday and how to carry that through the rest of the week. And where it becomes the more of the norm, where we're hanging out after service on Sunday on a regular basis and growing and learning together to unite us under Christ and to bring people to the Lord.
If Lakewood Church of Christ were to gather here in 5 years, I think that we would probably be celebrating our huge population growth. Either that, or we would be celebrating the amount of miracles that people in our church have experienced.
What would we be celebrating? Enthusiastic, numerical, and spiritual growth of our congregation as a result of unifying and working toward a limited number of specific, enumerated, and measurable goals. My list might include international missions, poverty relief here at home, small groups in our congregation, and for lack of a more elegant way to put it, some actual standards by which members are challenged to grow in their efforts, virtue, and discipline as disciples. Put differently, I'd like to, in 5 years, say, this is what we were trying to do. These were the activities we chose to do. These were our resources, and this is how we can discern if God blessed them, and then reassess.
Okay, in 5 years, we want to know what our young people are thinking. We want them to know what we've been through. Some of them are going to be, in 5 years, won't remember COVID-19. Thankfully, they won't remember, but we can tell them how we hung together, how we unified, and how we love each other.
And our young people need to know that we are here to help them. And if they have questions that they're afraid to ask their parents, we are here to help that.
When we're gathering 5 years from now, I hope that we will be celebrating a unity beyond what anyone can comprehend. A surge in God's kingdom that can't be ignored and that can only be explained by supernatural love.
Hi. As a member of Lakewood Church of Christ, in the future, looking at where our church is headed and where I would like to see it heading is a place where there's a lot more intergenerational relationships between people that are meaningful and are intentional. I think there's a lot of benefits in knowing people from a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different age groups and different places they're coming from, and it could really be a great thing. I also think that I would love to see us in a place where we have a lot more young people doing things that'll involve them in a more uplifting and intentional way rather than just a service. Just my thoughts.
I'm excited to see what the Holy Spirit's going to do as He encourages each and every one of us to use our spiritual gifts to bless each other and beyond. During all this, there will be a bonding that will happen with Him and with each other, and the natural outcome of that will be that we will share about Jesus and His healing power, and many will follow Christ.
So in 5 years, my hope is that we are celebrating amazing growth and unity as God's people. I hope that during that time we are asking to be, and we are putting ourselves in position to grow our spiritual strengths and our spiritual gifts in a way that furthers God's kingdom. And I hope that we're known for a supernatural love for each other.
In 5 years, I hope that Lakewood Church of Christ will be an even more family-like community than it is right now. I also think we should have more church babies.
Serve. I can serve. Oh, yes, my Lord. Because there's something about the Spirit of Jesus that makes me serve good.